Some people borrow sugar from neighbors. Karen borrowed my land, lit fires on it, and nearly burned down a sanctuary generations fought to protect. The lake lot was my sanctuary, a slice of wilderness I'd fought to keep pristine. My grandfather left it to me, a quiet haven where the water whispered and the pines stood sentinel. But Karen, my neighbor, had other plans. She'd always eyed my land like it was hers to command, her entitlement as sharp as the axe she once borrowed without asking. Last summer, she crossed a line that turned my refuge into a battleground. Karen ran an unofficial bed and breakfast out of her cabin, a ramshackle setup that drew noisy city folk chasing authentic getaways. I tolerated chatter, the litter, the occasional stray dog from her guests. But when I returned from a week away, I found her latest stunt. Her guests had spilled onto my lot, their tents pitched haphazardly across my shore, their campfires spitting embers into my grass, fishing lines tangled in the reeds, and beer cans bobbed in the shallows. My blood boiled. This wasn't just trespassing. It was a violation of everything I held dear. I confronted Karen that evening. She stood on her porch, arms crossed, her smirk as smug as ever. "They're just camping, Tom. Lighten up. It's not like you're using the land." Her voice dripped with condescension, as if my lot was public property. I told her to clear them out by morning or I'd call the authorities. She laughed, tossing her hair. "Go ahead. No one's scared of your empty threats." But I wasn't bluffing. I'd been in touch with the local game warden,
Eliza, for weeks. Karen's guests had been fishing without permits, dumping trash, and worst of all, ignoring the protected status of my lot's shoreline, home to a rare species of turtle. Eliza had been building a case, waiting for the right moment. That moment was now. The next dawn, I watched from my cabin as Eliza's truck rolled in, her badge glinting in the early light. Karen's guests were still sprawled across my lot, oblivious, their laughter grating against the morning calm. Eliza moved with quiet authority, her boots crunching on the gravel. She knocked on Karen's door first. I couldn't hear the words, but Karen's face went from smug to ashen in seconds. She followed Eliza to the campsite, her usual swagger gone. The confrontation was a silent satisfaction, was electric. Eliza's voice was steady but firm, listing violations, illegal camping, unlicensed fishing, environmental damage. Each charge hit Karen like a slap. Her guests scrambled, some packing tents, others stammering excuses. One kid, barely 16, clutched a fishing rod, his eyes wide with panic. That's when the twist came. A man stepped forward from the group, unassuming, with wire-rimmed glasses and a quiet demeanor. "I'm with the County Conservation Board," he said, pulling out a badge. He'd been posing as a guest, documenting everything for weeks at Eliza's request. Karen's jaw dropped. She'd been played. The man, Daniel, revealed photos he'd taken, tire tracks crushing turtle nests, oil slicks in the water, trash buried in the sand. Karen tried to deflect, claiming she didn't know her guests were on my land. But Daniel's evidence was ironclad. The crowd turned on her, their hostess now a liability. One woman, a mother with 2 kids, shouted, "You said this was legal." Karen had no reply, her confidence shattered. Eliza issued fines thousands of dollars for Karen and her guests. The turtle's habitat damage could lead to a lawsuit, Eliza warned, her gaze fixed on Karen. I felt a grim satisfaction, but it was fleeting. My lot was scarred, the turtles' nests ruined. The victory was hollow. As the campers dispersed, Karen stood alone, staring at the lake.
For the first time, I saw something like regret in her eyes. But it was too late. The land I loved was wounded, and her recklessness had cost more than money. That evening, I walked the shoreline, picking up remnants of the chaos, broken tent peg, a child's sandal. Daniel joined me, offering a
Quiet apology. I didn't expect it to escalate like this, he said. His undercover work had exposed Karen's negligence, but he hadn't foreseen the emotional toll on everyone. I nodded, unsure how to feel. The lake was still beautiful, but its peace felt fragile, like a promise broken. Weeks later, I learned Karen was facing a lawsuit from the Conservation Board. The turtle's habitat destruction was a federal offense, and her bed and breakfast was under scrutiny. She'd moved away, her cabin now dark. I should have felt triumphant, but the bitterness lingered. My sanctuary was safe, but at what cost? The turtles might never return. The land held scars that mirrored my own. What would you do if your haven was invaded and justice left you empty? Justice came, but peace didn't. And now every ripple on the lake reminds me of what was lost, not just what was saved.